And I'm looking today at breaking free of conditioning. Conditioning implies there's a conditioner. Well, in Mysteries of Genesis, written by Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of the Unity movement, he describes that when we entered into physicality, when we entered into this material world, when we began to experience the material condition, we began to experience conditioning. We began to see things as mine and yours and friend and enemy and our country and your country and better and not so good. And we came up with this dualism. We came up with this conditioned thinking, which has also led us to fear. Fear that somehow we're not going to get what we need because someone else may get it. Fear that something is not going to go right, and out of that fear may come anxiety, anger, attempts to control others and control our environment. By the way, how is that going for you? Sometimes it doesn't. I was in the grocery store, I think it was just yesterday. It seems like a long time ago now, but I think it was just yesterday. And I have been on a discovery of my superpowers. Do you write down what your superpowers are? I have been finding numerous ones. I have this superpower, whether I'm in Costco, which I did a week ago, the same thing, or yesterday in Harvest Market, or if I go to Nugget, or wherever I go, I have this superpower that no matter how short a line might be, I will pick the slowest one. Does anyone else have that superpower? How do we do that? It's amazing how we use our intuition. I'm watching the lines. I'm like, okay, that guy, man, he's got his grocery cart just packed, and there's people back there, and this is a short line. I'm getting in the short line. And I stayed there in the short line. And, glitches occur. Person didn't somehow the transaction didn't get through. Manager had to come over. There was like a counseling session. And I am standing in line and I'm thinking, well, okay, the conditioning is, okay, if someone is taking up my time, then do I need to get angry? Do I need to get upset? Do I need to try to be controlling? What do I need to do? And I'm observing that and I'm thinking, what? Wherever I am. So why not just be the I am right where I am? Right? So I'm just hanging out and I'm chilling and I'm just interacting and just being who I am. And National Enquirer or whatever is talking about Britney Spears, it's like, I'm thinking, oh, poor Britney. So I'm sending Britney prayers, and I'm sending prayers to the people that are in the line in front of me. Why not? Why not just be in the presence? And what I've noticed is one of the best ways to break conditioning is to really focus in that presence. That presence of God, that presence of the divine is here all the time. But it's a spiritual practice. The reason it's called a spiritual practice is because we practice it. Don't expect it to just happen automatically. Now, if you practice it long enough, it may begin to happen automatically. Or you may just have a spontaneous expansion of love as you're in a slow-moving line. But for most of us, it's a practice, And so we exercise that muscle that tunes into the presence of God. And when I really tune in to that inner presence of God, what I know is that there is oneness with every person. You know, I study a lot of stuff, and some of you know I'm very devoted in Krishna consciousness. I'm very devoted in unity teachings and as a unity minister. And in study the Bhagavad Gita, you know, I was looking at the Bhagavad Gita, and it says that the one who sees me everywhere and in all things will basically never be disturbed. And I began to realize, if I really see that presence wherever I am, in whatever situation I am, if I recognize that in that situation there is, as Unity says, truly only one power and one presence, active as our lives and as the universe, the God, the good omnipotence, if I really know that, not just up here, not just as a rote slogan, but if I really know it in my core of my being, that I am the inlet and outlet of all there is in God, that you are as well, that we are one. And so I'm seeing this guy, and he's frustrated at the front of the line, and he's trying to get his account worked out. And I'm just sending him love. I know what it's like when I think I got everything lined up, and I get somewhere and I don't have it lined up at all. So I just send him love, because what is happening with him is happening with me. And that grocery line became a good analogy for life. We're all in the same line. So why not just get along, you know, and share the National Enquirer or whatever it is that joins us together. We're all in this together. So every day, I begin my day with chanting and prayers. I chant holy names of God. And at night, and I go into a time of centering meditation. And when I go into this presence, it's like those worries of dualism, those worries of conditioning about fear, like I've got to get mine before they get it, as if there's only so much to go around, you know. I love driving in California. I do. I really do. I've always wanted to drive 80 miles an hour wherever I went, and now I get to. And I have this weird habit left over from Wichita, Kansas, where I signal for turns, which indicates to others that I'm not from this area. Because other people feel like the way they want to signal is just when you see their brake lights come on. It's like, oh, they're turning. That's how they signal here in California. And yesterday, you know, I was coming over here. We had a wonderful service for Ken Kosloff. A number of you know Ken. 6'5". You know, he and Deborah Warren, Deborah is his wife, and granddaughter of Chief Justice Earl Warren. And Ken had played the part of Earl Warren when Cindy Acker had the play Brown versus Board of Education. And so I was rushing to get here. I love this speech that my wife has for me. I got it this morning, and I got it yesterday too, I believe. She's like, why do you wait till the last minute? Because then you're going to rush on the highway. Why do you do this? It's like, well, anyway. So I was rushing to the Celebration of Life service yesterday, just as I rushed to service today. And, but evidently, I wasn't going fast enough. It's amazing to me that 80 isn't fast enough. It's like, wow, people really want to go somewhere here. you know? And so this person speeds way up and then just cuts right in front of me so that they can then slow down and turn into the grocery store. Okay. Glad we're all safe. And sometimes we have this mentality that I've got to get there before others do. Someone's going to take what I need, so I need to. What I found is that by practicing the presence in my daily life, and it's a spiritual practice to start with meditation. For me, it's chanting and singing. I go into a deep meditation. However you go into meditation and to really touch the holy, to really touch the presence, to really touch your core, to really touch what you really are, the absolute. That absolute, see, if you want to know what material conditioning is when you are focused and worried about that which is temporary and transitory, and not investing your time in that which is absolute and eternal. It's kind of that simple. Wish I had thought of that the first service. This is coming out way different. It is. Every service is different. So when we focus and ground into that absolute presence that we are, when we're really focused in that, then we're not so disturbed by all the little things that are changing. And, they're always changing. Transient, temporary things, they're always changing. One of those things is the body. Have you noticed? Have you? I saw a picture of myself from a few years ago. I'm like, who is that guy? Have you ever done that? Or maybe you're not seeing any changes. Maybe you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I got it going on. I'm eternally 20. Good for you. The body seems to have some of these temporary aspects to it. And yet, I've talked to so many people who tell me, but I feel so young inside. I feel like the same person that was a child. I feel like the same person that was, and I need to be careful what I say in front of our kids. But I feel like that same person that was making out in the back seat. I feel like I'm that same person that was surfing. I feel like you are. Because what you really are is eternal. What you really are is that expression of the absolute. That's why I say my hand, my legs, my head, my car, my home. Who's the my? Who's the my that's calling it my hand, my leg, my head, my car, my home? Who's the my? What we really are is this eternal presence. And we can observe the body. We take care of it. It's a way that we express in this world. But we're much more than the body, just as we're much more than our home or our car, right? We're much more than that. When we really tune in to what we are and into who we are, then we begin to see our oneness with all people. Then we begin to see that there is nothing for us to be afraid of. Now, I do want to say that this has been one of the strangest couple of years, almost couple years, that I can remember. I mean, just bizarre. I can remember March of last year, I had a doctor's appointment on, I believe it was Monday, March 16th. And I was just getting under the wire. For eye examination, eye appointment, it had been a while. My glasses were all messed up. I could hardly see out of them. And so I need to get an eye appointment. So I got the eye appointment. And all right, they're going to get me the glasses. The next day, I believe, which was Tuesday, March 17th of last year, everything just shut down. And about 9 or 10 months later, I got my glasses. You all didn't know, but I could hardly see through my glasses for about 9 or 10 months. But you didn't care because you weren't here. I was coming in every Sunday, and Connect, who's up there in the booth, let's give a hand to Connect. Connect and I would show up. Connect would be up there, I'd be down here, I'd be leading the service, we'd have recorded music, and I'd be talking, and none of you were in here. But I knew you were there. I knew you were through that camera. I could feel you. And so I wasn't seeing so good. But what a weird time this has been. And for a lot of us, it was a time of loneliness, a time of isolation. There were things going on in people's lives that not everyone knew. I mean, not everyone knew what was going on in Ken's life. Not everyone knew what was going on in the life of Bonnie Bartlett. Not everyone knew what was going on with different people in our community. We weren't seeing each other. And for someone who really likes to connect with people and is social, oh my gosh, it was an austerity. It was like, wow, I'm really going into a monastic existence here. I just stay at home and study and go on meetings on Zoom. Yeah. And, you know, I may have told you, I've had a couple people who came up to me and asked, have you had a good vacation the last year and a half? And that's when I'm practicing my spiritual principles. Because I just want to smack them. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, keeping the spiritual community going, of course, all you help too, but keeping the spiritual community going, not only that, but figuring out how to do it all virtually and how to navigate. Are you serious? And they're like, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah. I don't know what it was like for all of us, but just from talking with a lot of people, it was a challenging time. And it got us in touch with our mortality. Human beings don't like to get in touch with their mortality. They just don't. It's like, no, I'm ignoring what I'm seeing in the mirror. No, I'm ignoring what the doctor's saying. No. But we are much more than the body. We are not the body. We are this eternal spirit soul. We are this eternal I am presence. And so when we really tune into that, and when we live from that out of service, we're liberated from conditioning. When I am really doing service to this divine, service from this divine, service to the divine living as each of you, when I am really in the flow of that, man, I feel great. We do feel great when we go into that spirit of service. There's a reason why there's more than just one of us on the planet. We're here to serve. We're here to support. We're here to hold the high watch with one another. We're here to be understanding. I used to just get upset when people were different from me. Now I have compassion, first of all with myself, because a lot of what I was upset with in other people was really about being upset with myself. So next time you're really upset, do a little check-in and see if you need to give yourself some compassion in some area. And then be compassionate and understanding of how that other person is acting. Because chances are they're probably doing the best they know how at the time. We can be that loving presence. There's so much to this subject, but the power of this month is will, and will is the power to make a choice. You can make the choice to know that you are the presence of the divine in action and that you are here to be that presence in the world. Next Sunday, Reverend Deanne will be speaking, and she's a great speaker. We'll be speaking about there's no place like home, really coming home to that presence within, really coming home to prayer, really coming home to the presence. That's what we are here to do, and that's what we are here to express in this world. I love you all. It's wonderful to have you here. If I haven't met you yet, I'll be out here at the end of the service, and I know that you're in good hands. Reverend Deanne will be kind of the lead minister while I'm gone, and just know that I'm holding you in my prayers and in my thoughts. And if you would repeat after me, where I am, the presence of God is. And who I am, the presence of God is. I am free from fear. I am free from worry. I am free. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.